Good afternoon, everyone. So, hope everyone is doing good at this time. Right now, there's a blue moon in Aquarius, so the energy is going to be twice as potent as the last full moon, and this is a great time for. I don't want to say just manifestation or anything like that. I'm not going to be cliche like that, but for anything that one sets their mind to, whatever one puts their energy towards is going to be twice as potent. So whether or not that is clearing, or whether or not that is bringing in, or cutting cords, or whatever have you, um, this is a particularly potent time, and it's also a very potent time for honestly releasing anything that is not serving you. It's a really potent time for evolution, and development, whether it be self or projects or whatever. This is the time, an intense time for development. I've already shuffled the cards to save time, so we're just gonna go ahead and get into it. Once again, if you've been following this channel, you know the drill. The first row, or the bottom row is messages from the underworld. On the middle row, how those messages and energy affects what's going on Earth plane and how we can work with it. And then the third row, or the higher row, is advice from the higher realms. And then each column corresponds to the spirit of air, earth, fire, and water, respectively. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Um, and it is actually a really beautiful evening tonight, and I'm actually glad it came out around this time because the sun is perfect right now. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it just feels great. I'm just doing a couple extra shuffles, just because. um, and yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So starting with the column of air in the first, or in the bottom row, so from the underworld, what messages do we? Oh, okay. So first in the air column, we have from the bottom row, the Three of Pentacles. Ooh. The Page of Cups. In the Earth, the Two of Wands for fire. And finally, in this bottom row here, in the column placement for water, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So let's see, we have two pentacles in two interesting places, both on either end, so in both air and water placements. Then we also have the Page of Cups in the Earth sign, and then the Page of Cups reversed, I should say, in the Earth column, and then the Two of Wands in the Fire column from the subconscious or the underworld. So this is a really interesting spread. So basically, what this is saying, especially with the pentacles being on either end, it's almost as if there is, I suppose, on the intellectual level. Hold on, let me double check this because I just want to make sure this reading is accurate. Give me one moment. Hi everyone. Yeah, sorry about that. Honestly, I do always like just to take an extra second to pause and really read the spread before I actually interpret it, and just double check myself, and just to make sure I can bring the most accurate reading to you guys possible. So with this bottom row, the energy coming in from the netherworld or subconscious or underworld, what's really being stirred up, especially with these three negative cards, like the three of pentacles in reverse, in the air placement, the Page of Cups reversed in the Earth placement, and the Two of Wands in the Fire placement. So basically, this means actually quite a few things. It means that there's a lot of energy coming in surrounding new opportunities, stability of the actual ground that you're standing on, and this can reference literally anything from anything financial to whatever relationships with the Page of Cups like this. Honestly, with the Page of Cups being reversed in the bottom Earth placement, that means that there's a like what I'm getting. I'm not gonna say what it means, but what I'm really getting energetically is like there's gonna be a very strong element of desperation, and in that desperation comes a high degree of deception. So it's like, people, like, especially with what's going on in the world, it's like people may make choices or actions, um, not out of just being totally malicious, but of some sort of desperation, and there's a high amount of deceit that will come with that. So definitely be careful, I would say, of the people who you are interacting with, who you're working with. I'm going to adjust this a little bit more just so it's more centered on me. Um, and how you're dealing with people and anything that's revolving finances, house and home, or work. That's huge right now. Like, so be very careful. Like, I'm very wary of this page of cups reversed in the earth placement, especially coming from the subconscious or the underworld. Also in the fire placement, or in the fire column, we have in the netherworld, in the bottom row, we have the two of wands, which suggests it further exasperates the page of cups reversed, actually, in the earth column, because it's indicating that one may be in for a very nasty surprise, or there may be another factor just jumping in that's really unexpected, and it could severely disrupt whatever is being worked on. But with the Eight of Pentacles actually upright in the water column, there's definitely been preparation for situations like this. So this is nothing new. Like, you're emotionally prepared, and you've created, and I shouldn't say you, but one has created, or the energy around it suggests that there's a stable element, or one will be able to weather the storm that's really coming. And actually, when I say weather the storm that's really coming, that means a number of that's actually extremely literal right now. There's just so many things going on in this world, and from extreme weather to just a lot of violence, the potential of another shutdown, um, or lockdown, I should say. There's a lot, but we have gone through the ringer, I should, and we have, thanks to those experiences, we've come out stronger, so we're able to weather the situation better. Um, but and that's thanks to this, to the eight of, or what the message I'm getting from the spirit of water, from the subconscious and the underworld, uh, in the bottom row. So once again, the subconscious level, like we have that strength to be able to weather these three negative cards, or these reverse cards. So, but I do want to touch on the Three of Pentacles reversed in the air placement. This can also be a strong indicator that one is not moving forward, and they need to move forward. They know they need to. They have a plan. They're not acting out. Excuse me. They're not acting on it out of fear, or you know potential scenarios that may not even happen. So definitely, take, really examine, mental faculties, what's going on, and what's kind of holding you back from moving forward. And it could once again relate to this. You may be in a very confusing, very deceptive situation, and this also just confirmed that there will be a surprise. But unfortunately, what the energy is really saying from the underworld as a collective, you're gonna have to push forward. There's really no other way to say it or be friendly about it. But we have the strength, and we have the tools necessary to weather this kind of storm. Like, there is, like, not to scare or to shock or to make anyone paranoid, but there is an intense amount of energy coming in, especially around this new moon, around this time. um, and there's just going to be a lot of moving parts. Some things may be fantastic. Others may Other things may really force one to really confront their own tactics on how they're dealing with what they got. There's no other way to really say it. So, what the subconscious, what the What the subconscious is really saying, the energy that's really coming in is saying there's going to be a lot of stuff coming in, and it's not going to be pleasant, it's going to be relatively painful. So best to be prepared for that, and you also have the tools. Now, how does this affect, now, where we are now in the earth plane? What's this going to look like when it comes to its effect? How do we deal with this? So I'm going to go on with the earth row now, or the physical plane, the conscious level. So we have the Page of Wands in the air placement, or the air column. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles in the earth column, reversed. Like, both of these cards are reversed too. They're not upright. We have so we have the Six of Wands in the fire placement, or the fire row. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed in the water row, or the water column. I'm sorry, Spirit of Water column. So give me one more second. I'm just gonna take a quick pause just to really examine this. So with what's going on in the current plane, honestly, like, this can be more of a perfect matchup. So what this is telling me, what's happening on the earth plane, and the energy that's coming in, especially in the air placement with the Page of Wands reversed. Once again, this generally indicates someone who, not necessarily deceit, but it's like you have a passion, but you're not acting. Once again, you're not acting on it. There's a stagnation. There could be delays, which could, cause trouble down the road. You can have trouble, moving forward with passions or an idea or a project. This is what the Page of Wands generally represents. But with this in the air placement like this on the earth plane, this actually to me more indicates, or what I'm really getting from it, is this lack, like I said, from the underworld, this lack of not moving on your abilities or that next position or whatever you got to do to really build yourself up. Like, you're feeling this now. So it's like you're not moving. But the thing is that with the Page of Wands in reverse like this, you are in fact, or I shouldn't say you, but one is in fact shooting themselves in the foot by not they're stagnant. They're like, this could be in any situation, but I'm sensing like there's, a strong sense of hesitation, and once again out of fear. And that is going to do you far more harm. Once again, this is the air placement, and this is intellectual placement, or the intellectual column. So this represents, mental, processes. So one may be reluctant to let go of a certain thought pattern or certain ideas, beliefs, or whatever. But if you're not willing to let this go, or challenge what one thinks, one believes, what one has learned, one's knowledge, this is going to have a very, very, very negative impact, going forward in the long run. So once again, Page of Wands, in the air column in the earth plane. If you're having a real serious time, like, confronting how one thinks and what one believes, it's going to cause you severe issues, and it's not going to be for the better. It's going to drag you down, and it's going to drag you down very, very low to a place where you do not want to be. Honestly, I really can't stress that enough. And as I'm saying, the wind is picking up. So I'm going to move on. The King of Pentacles in reverse in the earth placement generally suggests, in reverse too, almost certainly suggests like someone who is really, my personal experience, is someone's really stingy with money, kind of selfish, generally like a male figure, or masculine figure, independent of gender. This could even represent like, this can represent a boss, a family member, even a spouse that has like, they have the keys to the money and are not willing to really share, and they're more focused on themselves. But what I'm sensing in this reading is it's situational. So like, what this is affecting here is like, there's going to be some really turbulent times. There's going to be an element of deceit. Money will probably be very tight, and one needs to balance or it could not even money is really tight. It could also be, the ending of of a potential, job or relationship or some kind of stability. This is probably, and it's going to be painful. It's probably going to involve some level of deceit as well. And once again, it's not out of just straight up maliciousness. It's out of desperation. So, or needing to conserve. So definitely be careful, be wary of any kind of dealings around, jobs, business, money, anything like that, home, or even just relationships. Just be very, very careful. People might not be fully honest, and they honestly might try and screw you. You might be on the verge of losing something important, like a home. I don't want to say that, knock on wood, but definitely be careful of this. Definitely be careful of what's going on the Earth plane, because there's a lot of loss going on. So I'm going to say that. Moving on to the Six of Wands, actually, once again in the fire column on the Earth plane or in the Earth row. Um, this is generally a card of saying, whatever that you've been working on or manifesting or doing is going to succeed. Um, but in a really general sense, it's like you have conquered. From what I'm seeing, you may have already been anticipating the surprise and you've already prepared for it, or this negative change, or actually even a positive change that you may have been manifesting, is actually going to turn out positive. And you have in your, one could be not necessarily be laughing it off or just, parading themselves like, oh yeah, I conquered this and the other, but it's like, you got it. Like, you have worked for it, you set yourself up, you've made sure to batten down your hatches, um, and have, whatever you need. Um, and like it's almost like prepared for the storm. So the Eight of Pentacles and definitely the Six of Wands is definitely giving that energy. It's like you've prepared, like, or you are preparing, or you are already expecting, this kind of stuff to happen, and you're confident you can take on the situation. And finally, with the Ace of Pentacles actually in the water placement, or in the water column on the Earth plane, on the Earth row, this is suggesting that this came in reverse. The Ace of Pentacles like this. This came in reverse. But to me, this always looks like, you're dropping a seed into the ground to be planted. So, you're planting you're on. This could be the start of honestly like a new journey. You're planting the seeds for a new journey or a new manifestation, a new this, that, and the other. So you actually one could also actually just be okay with the first two cards. Like the Page of Wands and the King of Pentacles in reverse like this. One may be expecting it and are in fact planting seeds for their own thing. So overall, I would say, this is a very, on the Earth plane, how this energy from the underworld is really affecting us. It's like there's an air of preparation. Like we've definitely been here before. We've done that. And now we just need to know where, or one could say, like, now I just need to know where I'm going, what's my next move. It's not even like, once again, it's not even like this is unexpected. This also, I'm just covering the cards a little bit because the wind did pick up a little bit. But once again, it's like, this is all expected. So we're ready to jump in on this challenge and like move forward, move to the next level. You know, honestly, it's just like, okay, so there's some degree of expecting losses. There may be some kind of overcoming of, that way of thinking. Like, you just have to like do away with it, and embrace the change. And in this way, you'll be able to build something new. So on the Earth plane, the way this is all, from, the underworld and how this energy is affecting us, it's like, this is what this is really saying. It's like we've been there, done that, and we're ready for the next challenge. That's literally what this energy or what this reading is giving me. So finally, in the top row, we have what advice can the higher realms give us? I don't know why I'm shuffling again. I need to not do that. I sometimes do it out of habit, but if I feel compelled, I'm guessing I just need to do a quick shuffle. But anyway, moving up from what higher realm, what the higher realms, the advice that they can give us. In the, ooh, wow, like 3 negatives in a row. So we have the 3 of Wands actually. Interesting. In the airplane, or in the air column, or yeah, in the air column in reverse. So like this, you have this in the air column reversed. Um, we have the 2 of Pentacles in the earth column. Um, we have, this always seems to come up, like in all my readings, when I'm doing a major reading for YouTube. The Knight of Swords. So I can already, I'm going to say it in a minute. I'm not even going to say it right now. And then the High Priestess. That makes sense. And the High Priestess in the water column from the higher realms. On the row of the higher realms, and what our higher selves in the heavens can give us. So I guess I really did need to give that shuffle. This literally fits. So I'm gonna give me one moment. I'm just going to examine this, and then I will give you the full interpretation. Okay, so honestly, actually, I'm not even going to start with I'll just to start and keep it simple and quick. I'm going to say it like this: with the 3 of, like, the advice from the higher realm and the earth, and the airplane, or the earth, or the air column. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. We have the 3 of Wands reversed, like I just said. And honestly, when it's reversed like that, that means like one has already kind of gone through the work and knows what they need to do with it. So basically, from the higher realms and this advice, just act on it. Literally, this is what the above world is saying. Just act. Like, literally, like, you already know what you need to do. You've already, started the process. You just need to keep going with it. Just keep acting on it. Keep up that active change. That's what the advice from the higher realms in this reading is really giving us in the air column. So keep up with those mental faculties, challenging what you know, challenging what you thought you believed, challenging the sources it came from, and keep going with it. Don't hold back, don't relent, don't look back. Just keep moving forward. Like, that's the best advice that can be given, especially from the air, concerning our intellectual, assets and what we know. Obviously internally, not. It could also mean externally, but mostly internally. What we know, and just to keep building and working on ourselves. We just have to keep going with it. In the earth placement, or in the earth column, in the higher realms row, for advice and stuff like that, like I've said, definitely, like, there's gonna be, I mean, there's no getting around it. There's just gonna be a lot of intense change on the earth plane. There's just a change in the earth coming. There's no real way to escape it, and one's gonna have to weather the storm, and the hot the waving seas and the currents and stuff like that, as you indicated by the boats and the really wavy, unstable ocean in the background. Like, it's gonna be a bit of a roller coaster, but one's gonna be able to come out on the other side, just as strong, with choices to renew. So honestly, weather the storm, hold out. There's gonna be losses, but it's nothing that one can't handle. And so I guess the best advice that I'm really getting from this is honestly to focus on what the new thing is. Like, do you want to, like, obviously, like, this is gonna go, but this gives you whatever the stability is going to, it's on its way out. But what do you want in its stead? What do you want to build next? What do you want to juggle? How do you want to make your living next, or how do you want to move forward with this next relationship, or something like that? Now, since we're running out of time, so the Knight of Swords, once again, in the fire row, in the advice, or the higher planes, or sorry, the fire column, and in the higher realms row, basically that's saying just be careful. Once again, not to be too overzealous. Like, go on the attack of what you're doing. Like, you're going to need to be brandishing your strength, your sword, and really more than anything, showing to yourself one can weather such storms, such bad ones, and being able to fight to, like, I guess, really fight against it, whatever it is. You're passionate about it. You've been this is something, I guess, once again, you've gone through more, and whatever the situation is, or whatever your life situation is, it's independent to the person, but you've gone through it enough times to the point where, like, this is nothing new. You can just go and cut it down, but be careful not to potentially, you know, harm yourself or harm someone else in the process. Um, so it's like you've dealt with these nasty surprises before. You know how to be victorious. Once again, this is not something new, but you know, once again, just don't get too overzealous, and don't harm yourself in the process. Be wary of what you're doing. And then finally, in the water column, we have the high priestess in the row of advice and stuff like that. They're definitely, honestly, I'm sensing like this is really, really, really gentle. Like, tune into your inner nature. Like, you're already attuned. You're already acute. So this is actually what this is really saying. The high priestess in the top row for for water, like, you're already really in tune with your inner senses, your inner world. One sort of already is reconciling how their inner world and emotions are going to be affecting the outer, their outer world, and how they need to move about it, what they need to know, what they need to take in, how they need to navigate and change and adapt. This can also indicate that once again, there's an element of deceit. So what this is also saying is be careful with someone who may be emotionally manipulating others, or you could be emotionally manipulating somebody and not even know it. So definitely just be careful with things that are hidden, you know, or things that you may be trying to keep to yourself, or other people trying to other people are trying to keep to themselves. Just be wary of that. So you know, be trusting, I would say, but you know, don't be over trusting. Um, but for the overall reading, I would say, like, just looking at the entire spread, like, there is a massive, 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 massive change, like, coming globally. It doesn't matter, especially with this blue moon in Aquarius once again. Um, it's such a potent time for manifestation, changing, just different things happening, and just such a shift of energy. And this is what this is really indicating. There's just such a massive shift of energy, and so many things are just going to be disrupted. Um, and there's not much one can do. However, we do have the skills, the ability, the knowledge to weather the storm and to manifest what we want, or bring in what we want in our lives to us. Like, we've gone through it. We've gone through this period of learning. We've gone through this, developed skills already from past experiences, and we can take it. What we can do now is take it to the next level. So what really is not serving us or serving one, and for their truly for the best benefit or whatever, it's really on the way out. Whether or not you want to act on it and really critically examine what you need, what one needs in their life, or where they're going, is up to one. But, like, long story short, the old stuff is going out and new stuff is definitely coming in. And you can work with the energy or work with what's happening, um, for the better, or you cannot, and potentially just lose everything and be in a space of lack. So definitely be careful, and definitely be aware of what's happening around you. Like, that's the best thing I could say for this reading. Move on and let the old shit go. Peace. This is all the time we have.